So it's done by ESPN.
Yeah. All right, we're going live.
They do the media
Morning, everybody.
Yeah, that was the year before. The year before they did the All-Stars. I think they did that on the water in Bellagio. Yeah, that was fucking disgusting. Yeah. That was ridiculous. They spent like so long and we just made ice.
Morning, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and add in some image as well. It's one of those kind of mornings, if you know what I'm saying. Hope everybody's doing good. I stayed up too late last night watching the American Gladiators documentary. There we go. There's some image on ESPN Plus. I don't know if you guys did. I grew up watching that stuff, man. I used to enjoy the heck out of that show, so it was kind of a fun watch. There you go. Zach's already in there. Yes, I think the Gladiator thing is worth it. It's fun. It's a fun trip down memory lane, but it's also man, they also show some real dark kind of behind the scenes in terms of like concept and how it was, how it evolved and the people that owned it. And man, anytime money gets involved in something, people argue over who has the rights, who created it, who was responsible for it, all that. The athletes. I had somebody, I saw my Twitter this morning. I haven't a chance to respond, but I saw somebody said, man, it feels like there's a lot of parallels to MMA. And I agree. I feel like there's a lot of parallels to MMA because you got these guys that are kind of independent contractors that really didn't make much money. I think at one point, one of the guys that was kind of one of the bigger guys said that they were making like $25,000 a year for 52 shows. And they were taping like 2 shows a day for a week straight. So they're, so they would get like, it kind of gets into like concussions and stuff like that. So it's interesting, and there are definitely some parallels to MMA, but it was fun. Haha, manish. No Gina Carano in there. That would have been an even deeper tie to MMA, but not there. By the way, not just here for the American Gladiators talk, we're also here for UFC on ESPN 45 weigh-ins. Getting started here in just a moment or two. Looks like our headliners, Kai Kara-France and Amir Albazi, will be right off the top. So we'll get the drama of the main event done right away. And then we'll see where it falls out from there. Of course, Andrei Arlovski is on the card, so that means the Andrei Arlovski policy will be in full effect. He will show up at 10:30. So we know we can look at that. MP, much appreciated. Thank you, sir. I enjoy the commentary gigs, man. Really enjoy the opportunity to work for CFFC. Oh, just to the left, I see Amir Albazi. He's got the sunglasses on. He's ready to go, so it looks like he'll be number 1. I guess Kai Kara will be right behind him. The Honorable Jeff Mullen is getting in place right now. With just a minute left. Richard Noggin. You said, does camp start in July? When does camp start? We'll keep an eye out for that. You have to keep us posted this week to week. See if there's a prelims. All right, looks like we're about to get this thing underway.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. We're on. We're on.
Morning, everybody. Welcome to the weigh-ins. First to the scale this morning, one half of the main event, Amir Albazi. Official weight 126 pounds for Amir Albazi. Next to the scale, his opponent, Kai Kara France.
$125.5.
Official weight 125.5 for Kai Kara France. Next to the scale, John Castaneda.
$136.
Official weight 136 pounds for John Castaneda. Next to the scale, Victor Altamirano.
$124.5.
Official weight 124.5 for Victor Altamirano. Next to the scale, his opponent, Tim Elliott.
$126.
Official weight 126 for Tim Elliott. Next to the scale, Karini Silva.
$125.5.
Official weight 125.5 for Karini Silva. Next to the scale, Elise Reed.
$115.
Official weight 115 pounds for Elise Reed. Next to the scale, Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos.
$171.
Official weight 171 for Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos. Next to the scale, Daniel Pineda.
$145.5.
Official weight 145.5 for Daniel Pineda. Next to the scale, Ketlin Souza.
$124.5.
Official weight 124.5 for Ketlin Souza. Next to the scale, Alex Caceres.
$145.
Official weight 145 pounds for Alex Caceres. Next to the scale, Maxim Grishin. Official weight 205 pounds for Maxim Grishin. Next to the scale, Abubakar Nurmagomedov.
$170.
Official weight 170 pounds for Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Next to the scale, Johnny Munoz.
$136.
Official weight 136 pounds for Johnny Munoz. Next to the scale, Jin Yu Fry.
$116.
Official weight 116 pounds for Jin Yu Fry.
Looks like it. All right, that's our first break in action. You know, it's funny. I know this card. A lot of people were like, whatever, this card. And I've been, since I saw it, I'm like, I think there's going to be some fun fights on it. I didn't realize, like, 6 of the first 7 people that weighed in were at flyweight. And I love the flyweight division. Or less. You had a couple strawweight in there as well. But I love those lighter weight classes, man, because I feel like it's just all action and all cardio. But, yeah, crazy, man. Tim Elliott's back. Saw him. So Amir Albazi, Kai Car France right off the top. Got a co-main event with Alex Caceres and Daniel Pineda. That's official. Still waiting on Jesse Butler, the newcomer, and Jim Miller. That's it for the main card. The rest of the main card is good. Victor Altamirano, Tim Elliott, Karine Silva, Ketlin Souza, Abubakar Nurmagomedov, Zaleski dos Santos. So let's check the chat. See how everybody's doing this morning. Scroll back a little bit here. Oh, Simon Head's in here. Oh, that's right. I forgot Carolina Pierce was one of the gladiators. She was ice for one season in 2008. I was not aware of that. I mean, I knew I was aware of it, but I didn't know, A, her name, and B, that it was one season. Shout out to Simon Head for jumping in and dropping knowledge. Josh Hernandez. What's going on? Zach Kaufman says, you're getting a special guest on the call the 16th due to, having a thing the next day. Well, what's exciting is that since they made the announcement, I guess we don't have to be secretive about what's going on the next night. Happy to see my man CM Punk is getting back to work for AEW. I guess that means I'm going to start watching pro wrestling again. I haven't watched the show since he's been gone. But I can only tell you the conversations that I've had with him. And obviously things can change. And, clearly he's got greater business ties and all that. But my understanding is he's going to be there on the 16th. So we'll see if that changes. I gotta think they'd want him to be there, but my understanding is that the last time I talked to him, he's still going to be in Atlantic City for CFFC on the 16th. So check out CFFC one night and then watch you some AEW the next. Richard Noggin OTAs are now cool. Shout out to your nephew. Looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully get some preseason. I'm gonna end up watching him play. All right, let's see. MP says, landed on Kai. Stronger than Albazi. Okay. Wait. Hold on. MP, how do you go back and forth on a fight and then say Albazi's going to get smoked? You just said you were going back and forth. But I agree with you. I'm going back and forth. I think I ended up landing on Albazi, but totally understand I'm going back and forth. Manish Mims. I will say I'm giving a hearty 2 thumbs up. Oh, looks like we're getting back to action. We'll talk American Gladiators.
Next to the scale, Daniel Santos. Official weight 135 and a half for Daniel Santos.
Okay, guess it was just Daniel Santos. Look out. It's a cat. Oh, yeah. EQ. We were all kind of sitting here talking. At the later card, I mean, we're in Pacific time zone, so it's still not that bad. What is it? 3 o'clock prelims, 6 p.m. Main card, so I mean, it's still not that late for us, but I'll be honest with you, man. I like those early cards. Maybe it's just because, I get it. Like, the pay-per-views, if you want that kind of Saturday night, late night action, they've been the same time forever. I kind of wish it was on, like, during the day, But, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy like that. Richard, Punk does not still he trains when he can, I should say. He doesn't train as much because he does a lot more like film and stuff like that he's been doing, working with movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But dude is still super passionate about the sport, man. I think that comes across in the broadcast. You watch CFFC, man. He loves the sport, man. He absolutely loves the sport. Cody Merrow in the house. Yeah, man. I couldn't believe when they were talking about getting rid of the flyweight division. I love the flyweight division. I absolutely love it. To me, I think the lighter weight class is where it's at. Always have been. I mean, I get it. Like, the casual consumer or whatever, the biggest dude, the heaviest dude, that's the strongest dude. I get all that. But to be honest, man, I always loved the lighter weight classes. Yeah. Man, just talking about what happened to Gordon. I don't know exactly how everything unfolded, but sounds like it was related to his previous concussion from the Bobby Green no contest. I'm still a little bit confused on that as to how it all played out and why it was just, yesterday essentially that this got called. But I feel for Jared, man. I hope he's doing okay. First of all, Jared Gordon's just a good dude. So many good people in the sport, but Jared's one of them. You know what I mean? Like, you see the work he does and the, how he's always out there, putting his life story out there, but always willing to help others and battle addiction, and have to respect that. But he talked about it this week, how the Patty Pimblett decision, then the Bobby Green no contest, and how he was it put him in some depression, man. He was battling depression for a little bit. A loss that you thought you won, a fight that you thought you were winning, that all of a sudden becomes a no contest. And now you get a fight pulled on fight week. He said he did say he got a new contract, that a well-paying contract. Yeah, I'm hoping maybe they send him some money or something. Maybe they give him a little something, but more than just the financial aspect of it, I just hope, mentally and that sort of thing, he's good, because he admitted how tough it was dealing with the last two fights, and now you have this on top of it. So good vibes, and just all concerns for Jared. Hopefully he's good. Nah, come on, man. She didn't say that. Did he? I don't believe you, sir. I think you're just making stuff up. Maybe you're changing his quote just a bit. Now, there's a lot of good people in sport. It's honestly what I love about the sport, man, is that there's so many good people in it. I would say there's very few bad people in it, man. I think there's something about, I guess it depends on what your definition of what a good person is, you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe the average person decides they want to fight in a cage for a living. You know what I mean? I think it takes a special kind of individual to say that that's what you want to do. But I think there's also something about this sport where, man, when you lose, you don't just lose a game. You get knocked out, or you get choked out in front of your friends, your family, and the world to see. And I think it humbles you. I think there's a lot of good people in the sport. Yeah, MP. He said in the media day that he dealt with some minor concussion issues, but he said he was good to go. So I'm just curious to see, and I didn't see after last night, had kids jiu-jitsu practice, and then family went to dinner, and then I got tied up watching the American Gladiators documentary. But I didn't see if he posted on social media or anything. But I'm curious about that too, because the promotion announced the bout, the commission approved the bout, and then at some point it doesn't happen. So I'm curious exactly what happened. I'm sorry, but if you look at Sage Northcutt as an evil person, Richard Noggin, that's true. That dude is like the nicest human being on the planet. The nicest human being on the planet. EQ says, fun fact, all favorites won last card except one underdog. Is that right? I didn't realize that. So Chase Hooper was the only dog that won last time. Look at that. Matthew Sherwood, pay-per-view buys are high when people are tired. Yeah? You think that's what they attribute the buys to? Is that people are just tired of making bad decisions and they spend money? I get it, man. I think me liking the afternoon fights is just a product of getting old. I get it, man. Especially for, like, I guess the live crowd. But, I mean, like a West Coast pay-per-view, if you're a fan, whether we're talking about a live audience or we're talking about watching on TV, like 7 p.m. start, that's good. 7 to 10 for a pay-per-view, that's good. Man, those East Coast shows, like, the main card doesn't even start till 10 p.m. and it's over at 1, and I don't know, man. Sage Northcutt kicked my puppy. That would be funny. Now I feel like that's a skit that needs to be written and acted out. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. Oh, looks like we're getting back to action.
Next to the scale, Muin Gafurov.
$136.
Yes!
Counseling crazy.
I get the impression they may have been stressing that one just slightly.
Official weight 136 for Muin Gafurov.
Way to go, babe. Thank you.
Next to the scale, Mohamed Naimov.
$155.5.
Official weight 155.5 for Mohamed Naimov.
Thank you.
Okay, so Tajikistan in the house for back-to-back weigh-ins, and looks like we're on break again. Haha, Richard Noggin. I do have the sniffles this morning, but I think that would be allergies, sir. A younger version of myself may have had a different answer, but not these days.
Boring.
Torn on Gafurov and Castaneda. Some good matchups on here. Let me check out the odds. I haven't even looked at the odds on this thing. See what we got here. Pulling up best fight odds. Albazi, Kai France to pick him. I tend to agree with that. I'm leaning Albazi, but Kai France legit, as we know. Caceres minus 175, slight favorite over Daniel Pineda. I agree with that. Timothy Elliott. Why does it say Timothy Elliott on here? Who calls Tim Elliott Timothy? Minus 185 over Victor Altamirano. Karine Silva minus 225 over Ketlin Souza. Already have odds here. Jim Miller minus 275 over the newcomer Jesse Butler. Abubakar Nurmagomedov, slight favorite, nearly almost a pick 'em against Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. John Castaneda minus 165. Oh wait, that was the Mateus Mendoza fight. Hold on, see if they got the new ones. Minus 140 against Muin Gafarov. You can see that. Dontel Mays minus 140 over Andrei Arlovsky. I'm biased as hell. No comment. Daniel Santos minus 225 over Johnny Munoz. Okay, interesting. Jamie Malarkey minus 500 over Muhammad Naimov. Wow. That one shocks me. Elise Reed minus 135 over Virginia Fry. Luan Lacerda minus 155 over Jamal Blackshear. Maxim Grisham minus 135 over Philippe Lenz. Minus 500 on Malarkey, man. Wow. Zach, don't disagree with that, Virginia. That much better, huh? Wow. Oscar Lara, who could Izzy fight at 293 if Robert Drickus don't get too banged up? That's the question, right? That's the $1 million question right now. Not a lot of clear scenarios that make a ton of sense. And I was talking to the boys at Submission Radio the other day. Oh, back to work.
Next to the scale, Jim Miller.
$155 and a half.
I feel Jim.
Official weight 155 and a half for Jim Miller.
Thank you, sir.
Guess that was it. It was just Jim Miller. Dealing with the late opponent change. Was it talked to him immediately? Was it 3 straight fights that he's had a late opponent change? All right. So what we're talking about? Oh yeah, Oscar Lara. Yeah, I was talking with the Submission Radio guys the other day, man. Like I don't even know, because I don't really. That's a bit. And for Robert Drickus to come out of that fight good to go, that's tough. So, yeah. Matthew Sherwood. That dude's intense, man. And look, it's probably because I got some bias because I called his last fight. And inherently I get some bias because I see those dudes perform. I'm like, man, don't overlook this dude. That's the kind of line where it's like, you don't think Homeboy has a chance. So, Interesting. Simon, I think that's the one people are saying. Izzy Jamal, that's the one that kind of lines out and makes sense the most. Yeah, because you need a headliner type fight, so that's the one that makes sense. But I haven't heard that that's done. Quantum, so who's the oldest MMA fighter to pick up a win in the UFC? I don't know that answer. Randy? Gotta be Randy Couture, right? Has to be. Let me see. How old was Randy? I should have just Googled. I Googled Randy Couture and pulled up his Wikipedia page. I should just Googled to see if there's an answer to that. Okay, so August 2010. Was he even 47 when he fought Tony? Am I doing my math right? Was he 47 when he fought James Toney? Let's see if I can. Oldest fighter to win in UFC. Comes up with oldest champions. Does anybody know? It has to be Randy, right? It has to be. Yeah, everything I come up with is oldest champions. Wait, there's a website, oldest.org? The hell is that? 10 oldest UFC fighters in the world. That makes no sense. This thing makes no sense. 10 oldest fighters in the world. Number 10, Dan Severn, June 8th, 1958 to present. I guess it's people that literally fought in licensed MMA, but come on, there has to be older people out there. Severn, Verdun. What? How's Verdun number 9? Damn, Yoel Romero number 8. Damian Maia number 7. Marion Renaud number 6. Okay, hold on. How does this list have Antonio Rogério Nogueira but doesn't have Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira?
Next to the scale, Don'Tale Mayes.
Right here, Don'Tale.
Official weight 262.5 for Don'Tale Mayes.
Ooh, Hendo's a good one too. Grayson Randy was 47. Yeah, that's what I thought when I was doing my math. Well, oldest.org says Randy is just literally the oldest fighter.
14. 14. I think I said 14. I thought it was 12. It was just like tough when people are just like 8 stone. I'm just like, I know that it's not a round number. I know that there's no like math.
Let's see how old Henderson is.
No, exactly. 14 times 7. 78.
All right, so Henderson's last one was Hector Lombard, 2016. Ooh, that's close. 46. Oh no, it was before his 46th birthday, so 45.
I just like to know, like,
I'm going with Randy Couture. That's my answer. Richard Noggin has it. See, 47 years, 10 months. So is that the oldest? Has to be the oldest, right? Hendo was a good one. That was close. All right, what else we got? What else we feeling on this card? I think it's going to be a team. By the way, all right, I guess we should get an update here. For anybody that's just tuning in, main card is just about done. We're just waiting on Jesse Butler, who stepped on incredibly short notice. So imagine he might need a little extra time. Of course, we're only 36 minutes in. As far as the prelims, still waiting on Andre Arlovski, but we all know Andre Arlovski comes in at 10:30. Still waiting on Jamie Malarkey, Damon Blackshear, Luan Lacerda, and Philippe Lenz, I should say. Anderson Silva was 45 and 7 months. Was that in a win, though? Because we said the oldest to win, right? Let's see. Hold on. Let's pull up Anderson real quick. Because the last win would have been Derek Brunson. So at that point, he was only 42. Is that right? No, hold on. Let's see. When was that? Gosh. That hurts me to see. 2017 was the last time that Anderson Silva had a win. Wow. Man. Yeah. All top 5 oldest or losses. Yeah, because that was the original question. Who was the oldest to get a win? I think that was the original question, right? Who was the oldest to get a win, not just who was the oldest to compete. Yeah. Scrolling up a little bit. Who was the oldest fighter to pick up a win in the UFC? Yeah, has to be Randy. It's going to be a tough one to beat. Boy, especially now. Man. Because obviously the athletes just keep getting better and better, man. The level of skills just keep getting higher and higher. That's going to be tough now.
Like, yeah, don't go over there and touch the ladder or do anything.
Meanwhile, my wife is texting me pictures of Taylor Swift's Latin America tour. So for anybody that's wondering, it appears that Taylor Swift will be in Mexico City from August 24th, 25th, and 26th. She'll then go to Buenos Aires, Argentina for November 9th and November 10th. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, November 18th. And Sao Paulo, Brazil on November 25th and November 26th. So if you're looking to go see Taylor Swift in Latin America, I know that's why you tuned in this chat. You were like, let's go. Got to see this. Now you know. All right, how old is Andre right now? Wait, I think Andre is 1 year younger than me, if I remember. I think he must be 44.
Oh, just in the picture of the house. Is that correct?
Let's see. Yep. He is 11 months. younger than me. Ooh, how old is Yoel Romero these days? Okay, Yoel Romero's 46. Oh yeah, Yoel Romero's 1 year older than me. So that's the great thing about Yoel Romero is I always think I have 1 year. He's always 1 year ahead of me, so I still have 1 year to get to look like that. All right, sorry. I'll see you all win the Bellator belt. Come back to UFC. All these come back to the UFC, but that dude can still compete with anybody. Yoel Romero is an athletic freak. Benil or Oliveira. Man. Trying to play this thing out in my head right now. I think I'm leaning Benil just slightly. I'm playing it out in my head, and I think I'm leaning Benil just slightly. But man, yeah, Colossus. His jiu-jitsu is so good, man, but he does get hit. I think I'm leaning Benil just slightly. That's a hell of a fight, though. Hell of a fight. To be honest with you, I'm more intrigued by Nunes and Aldana, I think, than I have been in most Amanda Nunes fights. Because Amanda's getting to that kind of, like, just how do you pick against her, but Aldana's kind of got that style. Just talked to Dan Ige yesterday. Good conversation with him. Looking forward to that versus Landwehr. They hate the train, baby. Got a couple fallouts on that, right? Earning replacements. How many fights are on that card? Checking out UFC.com, which I know is often a little bit outdated. Yeah, because they still got dockets on there, which I just got reported that's off. Get to see some CFFC names on there. Blake Builder's in. Jasmine Divizius is on there. Mike Malott, part of the CFFC family. No disrespect to Amanda, but yeah, that's the main event. No, I mean, obviously, you got to put a title fight in the main event, but I agree as far as intrigue. Benil Charles is there, but I am intrigued about, I mean, just stylistically and physically, I think Irene Aldana, she fits the bill of somebody that would want to be in an exciting fight with Amanda Nunes, so I'm intrigued. Ooh, 290, 291. Let's see, let's pull these bad boys up. Alright, hold on, we're pulling these bad boys up. We're looking side by side. Volkan Yair, of course, phenomenal fight, especially as good as Yair looked last time out. Dangerous, vote top pound for pound. Poirier Gaethje. BMF title. Obviously not as meaningful, but still fun. I'm not one of these guys that's so against it. Like, who cares? It's fun, and it's a hell of a fight. Moreno Pantoja, my goodness. The history between them. That's an interesting question. I'd have to think about it. Have we ever had a situation like that before? Well, I'm trying to think. Because, obviously, man, everybody's hyped about Brandon Moreno. He's the man. Gotta love him. Such a good dude, fun fighter. But he's 0-2 against Pantoja. Now, one of them didn't count because it's exhibition. Have we ever had a situation where a reigning champion fights a challenger who he's 0-2 against? Nothing jumps off to me off the page. I have to think about that. But that's why I find it really intriguing. Not only is it just a good fight, but the history of it. You know what I mean? All right, so that's the co-main versus Blachowicz versus Pereira. Good fight. But that's a check in the 290 box, right? Whitaker, Duplessis, love that, but they got to get the quick turnaround to have the stakes that we think it has. Versus Ferguson Green, Paulo Costa versus Ikram. I love that fight. Turner Hooker, that's a hell of a scrap. Nickel Gore, Wonder Boy Pereira. Damn, boy, these are loaded. These are good. These are good fights. Lawler, Nico, wow. Robbie Lawler, come on. Louis de Lima, Kiesa Holland, Brady Della. God damn, these cards are good. Simmelsberger, Johan, Yasmin Yergi, Denise Gomez, Krupp, Henfield. All right, let's do main card only. Damn. All right, I haven't looked in the chat, so I've been off the chat, so I'm interested to see what your guys' answers are. But am I more hyped for 290 or 291? God dang. Maybe 291. Is that crazy? 2 titles on the line at 290, but maybe I'm more excited for 291. Damn. Nah, it's 290. It's 290. 2 title fights. Number 1 contender fight. Jalen Dan will be crazy. The emergence of Bo Nickel against Tresean Gore. That's dope. Poirier Gaethje, which could be fight of the year, of course. Those 2 names. Easy fight of the year contender. Blachowicz versus Pereira starting his 205 run, where he could be incredibly effective. T. Ferg and Bobby Green. 2 of my all-time favorites. Paulo and Ikram, Wonder Boy and Pereira. Oh, I can't decide. I can't decide. All right, let's see what you guys say. Pantoja by submission. I'm telling you, that's such a unique situation. The reigning champ that everybody loves, 0-2 against the challenger. Yeah. Adesanya Pereira, good call. That one didn't initially come to mind because one was kickboxing, but you're right. In a manner that definitely fits the bill, so good call. But I was thinking, MMA. I'm trying to think. Man. I'm struggling to think of another one. And the other thing, too, is 0-2 in the UFC, right? like 0-2 in the UFC. I mean, I guess one was the Ultimate Fighter, but that's under the UFC family, so I'm intrigued by that. Nate the Train, baby. Ikram by submission. But that dude looks like a problem to me, man. That dude looks like a problem to me. I wouldn't say I'm surprised Paulo took the fight. Like, I know Paulo, but that's a tough one, right? I mean, Paulo's got all the name recognition, the ranking. Sounds like he just signed a new contract, so I guess, probably financially they were like, yeah, we'll give you this money, but you got to take this fight. But not a lot for him to gain, I don't think, and definitely a lot to lose. But I respect guys that take fights like that, man. 291 better. Arjun says 291 better. 290 has more legacy value, but 291 has more entertainment. That's a good way to put it. That's actually a really good way to put it. I think that's why I'm torn. West Coast in the house. What's going on? Oh, let's look back to action. Who we got over there? Can't see teams around them. Guess they'll make the announcement soon. Back to work. By the way, let's see what we got.
Next to the scale, Jesse Butler. Official weight 154.5 for Jesse Butler.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Jesse Butler, the newcomer. That makes our full main card official at this point. Main card completely weighed in. So at this point, we're just waiting on Andre Arlovsky, Jamie Malarkey, Damon Blackshear, Juan Lacerda, and Philippe Lins. Oh, yeah. So, Richard, if it wasn't for Hamzat and a nasty ass uppercut, Ikram would still be undefeated. Yeah, if you've ever watched that fight, competitive and then just an absolute destructive uppercut. Got it done.
Next to the scale, Damon Blackshear. Official weight 136 pounds for Damon Blackshear.
Simon has, they just need some extra time to get that stash looking good. Yeah, Richard, that'd be a great rematch to have at some point. West Coast fighters need to just fight, not pick and choose. It's true. It's just career management. Like my biggest frustration was, oh, that dude's scared of that guy. That dude's what. Obviously, that's not the case, but I get it. It's about kind of career management, right? Like, is it worth it that that guy has no name value? You can only fight 2-3 times a year. I mean, you can fight more if you really push it, but most times you're only going to fight 2-3 times a year. And if you pick up a win over a guy that has no real name value, what did you do for your career? You got another win, but did you really progress yourself forward? So I get it, man. I totally understand why people kind of do pick and choose and kind of protect their ranking spot and don't want to fight somebody. But yeah, man, go out there and get wins. I mean, everybody's dangerous. That's the hard part. Everybody's dangerous. And this is a sport where the better person, the more skilled athlete doesn't always win, right? Because anybody can get clipped, anybody can get caught. But I love it when guys are just like, yeah, let's go. Anybody, anywhere, anytime, let's go. But that's just not the way it works a lot of times. But yes, Ikram and a rematch with Hamzat would be fantastic at some point. Just got to get him on the same trajectory. I mean, if Ikram beats Paulo Costa, people are going to know his name, right? Because right now, nobody knows who he is. So it would be weird. Like, even though us that are sitting here right now that are hardcores would be like, hell yeah. The vast majority of the people that you're asking to buy pay-per-views, the casual fan, they'll be like, what am I watching? So they'd be like, wait, didn't Hamzat already lay out this dude? And Hamzat's the man. So I'm not too sure, but if we're going to talk about Heidi Dean, that's sacrilege around these parts. Yep. There's something to be said for activity. It's true. Quick little refresh on the coffee this morning. All right. Again, just waiting on 1, 2, 3, 4 people at this point. 1 hour in. Face-offs, of course, will be following these. 11 a.m. local time. No one has missed weight yet. And we're just waiting on Andre Arlovsky, Jamie Malarkey, Luan Lacerda, and Philippe Lenz. EQ predicting everyone makes weight. Hopefully so. Always hate to have any weight issues on the day of. I mean, the one you're probably most worried about, short notice, he made it, right? I had a couple short notice, I guess, none in a couple days. I guess we wouldn't really be worried too much with Jesse because he's usually a 45 or so, stepping up on short notice. But he was up a weight class. Tough assignment against Jim Miller. Third opponent for Jim Miller. John, if you're talking about my voice, guess what? You don't have to be here, bro. You can just jump out. How about that? How about that? No. So Simon had shared that Caroline Pierce was in the UK version, which was a reboot in 2008, if I'm remembering his stat right, and her name was Ice. But it was just the UK version. Yeah, UK version. Gina Carano was a gladiator. But I don't remember her when I was a little kid. Who else? That had to be like the reboot too. That had to be right. That couldn't have been the original version. Yeah. Because she's younger than we are. So yeah. So that would have been the remake too. Too funny. Cold coffee jumping in for an appearance. Zach, I better 45 to jump in. I'm assuming you're talking about. Well, who are you talking about? I'm guessing you're talking about Jose Perez, but I'll be honest with you. I do not understand why Jose Perez is still on the CFFC roster. I'm glad he is. I'm a fan, personally, and I love calling his fights, but I just don't understand why he hasn't gotten the call yet. Let's see. By the way, So we got CFFC 121, July 14th. Horseshoe time. Cold coffee jumping there. I saw it. My man's got a banana and 2 plums looking in awfully uncomfortable fashion, if you know what I'm saying. CFFC 121, July 14th, Friday, July 14th. Horseshoe Tunica Hotel and Casino, so if you're in the Memphis area, make your way down. But I just got the information yesterday. I'm sure the formal announcement will be going out soon. But Jose Perez versus Chris Vassell, we already talked about that. We talked about that at the grappling event this past weekend. So that's the Jose Perez was the interim champ. He won the interim title with a win over Frank Wells. But then Blake Builder, who fights next week in Vancouver, got signed by the UFC. He became the undefeated champ. So Jose Perez, Chris Vassell, undefeated. Flyweight title fight, because if you remember, our flyweight champion, of course, was Makoto Takahashi, but he signed to fight Kyoji Horiguchi for the Bellator flyweight title. So we have a vacant CFFC flyweight belt, and that is Shamel Finley, the bad man, versus Bad Matsurian Dorjev, the Immortal Lotus. I've not watched any tape on him yet, but 7-0, undefeated. Looking forward to watching some tape on him. That's our main and co-main. Raheem Forrest is supposed to be on that card as well. So, looking forward to that. Arjun says, you think Beheader will survive with the light heavyweights, especially someone like Jan who can wrestle? So, kind of two questions there, Arjun. I definitely think he's going to be fine at light heavyweight. Like, I have no idea how that dude made 85. Like, the weight cuts were awful. So I think he'll be just fine at light heavyweight. But you're 100% right about the stylistic matchups, the wrestlers, right? That's the one that's going to be problematic for him, is the wrestlers. And that's going to be at any weight class. It's just he has a striking advantage over most people, and he'll be at a wrestling disadvantage to most people. So it's tough. I mean, this is going to be a big one because Jan has no hesitation to just take you down and grind you out, and he'll do it. So I'm intrigued by this fight. It might not be the most exciting fight, but if he can win this one, that's a big one. EQ, do the fighters usually sit in the sauna before getting weighed in? Most do. Most get at least a little bit of sauna time. You know, some people are old school. Some people don't like it. Some people like to just run. Oh. So we're getting back to action, by the way. Oh, flying down Tunica, Zach. All right. It's fun down there.
Next to the scale, Felipe Leans. Official weight 205.5 for Felipe Leans.
One, thank you.
All right, that takes us down to 3. Andre Arlovsky, Jim Malarkey, Luan Lacerda. Yeah, Schmel's he's looked good so far in CFFC. Really enjoy him. But yeah, Tunica's fun. Little drive from Memphis. We have a good time out there. The place is always packed. It's a pretty cool venue. It's a pretty cool venue the way it's laid out. Don Flamenco in the house. Bellator remind me that Nimkov KO Deans. What did they do? Like put out that's funny. Arjun, what are your thoughts on BKFC right now? I feel like it's the fast food of combat sports. It's entertainment with knockouts every 10 seconds overshadow any display of skill. Well, I mean, if you're going to talk about the fast food of combat sports, and I mean, that's Power Slap, right? Where it's just nonstop, like one thing, right? But BKFC, I think they're doing a good job. I don't think they're profitable yet, but I think they're doing a good job, and I think they're moving in that direction. They're definitely getting attention. They understand how to put on a spectacle. And, here we go, back to action. Hang on, finish this conversation. Jamie Malarkey.
Next to the scale, Jamie Malarkey.
$56.
Official weight 156 pounds for Jamie Malarkey.
All right, so needed to strip down, but made 156. And side is like 7-Eleven food, not even fast food. That's funny. But yeah, no, I like BKFC. I like what they're doing, man. I think the product is good. I think they do a good job with the production of it, man. So it's like it's good. I think the value of it's nice. You know, pay that monthly fee. Obviously, they're doing like 1 or 2 pay-per-views a year for those bigger cards, but overall, you know, they're not asking for a ton of money. The sport is, I mean, a lot of cuts, a lot of blood here and there, but kind of superficial type damage. It's different, you know. It's not complete boxing. You gotta be really, you know, pick the way you land your shot. So, I like what they're doing. And I like that it's options for fighters. You know, everybody that I've talked to, especially because, you know, I've talked to a lot of the former MMA fighters that go over there, and they all kind of to a person say, "Man, this is actually way easier to get ready for." So, like, even though, yeah, I'm definitely taking some cuts and some, you're seeing the blood, you're seeing the damage, like the wear and tear that I'm putting on my body, especially with getting ready, is a lot less. Like, it's a lot less because I'm not having to do the grappling rounds, I'm not having to do the wrestling and jiu-jitsu and all that. So, it's weird, even though it seems like a rough spot to be in. You know, like, oh man, these dudes are taking real damage. They'll mostly tell you that they're taking less damage in these fights, so we'll see. We'll see where they go. You know, again, a lot of the reasons they're attracting that big name talent right there is because they're putting out some big paychecks, right? But that's what you gotta do in the beginning. You gotta overpay a little bit, right? You gotta lay it there. But can you sustain that money that you're paying? That's tough. So we'll see. Don Flamenco. You don't have to wait for it to stop. You don't have to wait for it to settle. They'll tell you just let it break the plane. Groshi in the house. What's up, dudes? It's Kevin. Oh, Kevin Holland? Hey, what's going on? No one's missed weight yet. We've had 2 folks need to use the curtain, but both were good. And at this point, we're sorry, we got a little text message on the side. Sorry, I got some business going on. All right, let's see what we got here. I would love to see Richard Nice. I would love to see 2 guys who are real legit boxers like Tank. Ooh, Tank Davis, Bud, and Spence to BKFC. It's interesting, right? Because it is different, and especially if you have, you know, hand issues, that sort of thing. You got to be like, you have to be very, very cautious because you can break your hands and do damage. But yeah, that type of precision and skill and striking, like, I'd love to see it too. Groshi, it has been a while. You know we're still waiting on Andre. Andre does not come in before 10:30. There's a reason that heavyweights weighing in at 10:30 is called the Andre Arlovsky clause, because he is the man who made it official. So we're just waiting on Andre and Luen Lacerda. Everybody else has made weight. Kaikar France, Amir Albazi, first 2 fighters to weigh in. So the main event was official right off the top. Everybody else is good. You did have Jesse Butler step in on short notice, but he's fighting up a weight class, so no issues there. In fact, he was actually under 154.5. Everybody else is good so far. All combat sports would be better with no gloves or MMA gloves. Interesting. I mean, I love one championship with the Muay Thai and the MMA gloves. Man, that changed everything. I love Muay Thai to begin with. You know, that's how I kind of started my combat sports journey. But in the small gloves, man, it's awesome. But yeah, there's an argument to be had for no gloves, for MMA gloves. I mean, obviously, in terms of grappling, it's no gloves would actually be preferable, right? Because you don't have that glove to kind of make it more difficult. That's interesting. Because, I mean, high-level boxing is still phenomenal. Like, I mean, Floyd Mayweather, as great as he is, can't imagine him fighting bare knuckle. Like, he has small hands. Don Flamenco, any buzz on your end for KSW tomorrow? 50,000 stadium in Warsaw should be quite the spectacle. Yeah. Personally speaking, I think it's awesome, man. You know, KSW doesn't really get the coverage necessarily that I'm sure they would like to have, but they're doing a big stadium show tomorrow, man. And I'm telling you, like, got to go to Poland for UFC. Simon Head was there. Did we only go once? Did we only do one time in Poland or twice? Can't remember now. I remember I was Darren Till and Cowboy in Poland. And I remember that was where Artem Lobov had the amazing weigh-in, if I recall correctly. What was it? No, that was Scotland, I think. Yeah. What was it? That was where Artem was like, no matter rain nor shine nor snow nor injury, you can't stop me. Choo choo, motherfuckers. That was a great one. Choo choo, mother. But yeah, it was crazy. Like over there, like legit, KSW was more popular than UFC. In fact, if I remember right, didn't KSW do the same venue as the UFC, like either a month before or a month after, and outsold them in terms of tickets? Like, that's where people say I trained KSW. Like, they've done a great job. Like, that is the sport over there. So, yeah, cool to have a stadium show. I retweeted the preview. Their PR guy was did like a little walkthrough of the venue, and it's pretty cool. Twice, there you go. I knew Simon Head would know. His memory's better than mine. Cold Coffee was like, isn't Poland where that random dude stayed in your room? Which, now that I said that out loud, sounds terrible. But yes, we have had a couple evenings where the frosty beverages ran a little late. Scotland, though, was the one I think that was crazy. Because we went to a pub and they were selling like whiskey for like £2 and Okay. Oh yeah. That's right. Krokop was in Krakow. That's right. Krokop was in Krakow. Lobov was in Gdansk. Good call. Krokop. That was a fun one too. Krokop. Krokop came to media day, and we got tipped off ahead of the media day by PR. They're like, hey, we're just giving you guys a heads up. Like, Krokop is in a terrible mood, so just get yourself ready. This might be brutal. So he showed up, and I was like, hey, man, what's the dumbest question somebody's asked you today? Just to kind of loosen him up a little bit. And he was like, that one. But he laughed, and he loosened up, and then we ended up getting like, wait, didn't he? Simon will remember what I mean. Did he like, I think he was like challenging like the media to do more burpees than he did. Oh, man. Hilarious. Yeah, he talked so long that like, people were like walking off, like the media was leaving, and Crow Cop, who was apparently in a terrible mood before he started the media day, was like, then telling the media, like, why are you leaving? You don't want to keep talking to me? Like, what, I'm boring you? Oh, man. All right, Richard Noggin, Dustin, Justin. Dude. I guess Dustin. Oh, good Lord. Violence. I love it. And I even like the BMF title, man. It was funny when they first announced the BMF title. I was like, what are we doing? This is dumb. Then I saw the belt. I thought it looked pretty cool, you know. Yeah, The Rock come, award and stuff. And I thought it was fun, man. I thought it was fun after it was all over. Crow Cop and Boss Root and reality show. That'd be amazing.
Here? Is that what they're doing in the room?
Boss is a legend, man. That dude, his energy, unbelievable, man. People who didn't see Boss in his prime, too, man. Boss was a straight killer. Shame more people didn't get to see that era. Ooh, I don't hate that. Jorge put the belt on the winner. I don't hate that, to be honest with you. I know Justin Barrasso at Sports Illustrated, I think he was doing an interview with Dana, and he suggested Mike Tyson, which obviously Mike Tyson, you can't go wrong with doing Mike Tyson in a situation like that. That would be pretty cool. But I do kind of like that idea of Jorge. Now, would he want to do it? I don't know. But I think it'd be cool. Like, I mean, he was always proud of that. It was one of one, and he was never going to defend it and all that. But it'd be kind of cool to, like, pass the baton, pass the torch, right? Solid idea, bro. I don't hate that. Grocery says, heart of hearts, DP wins again. I know, that's what I think, right? Because when I think back to the first fight, I don't think of like Gaethje being off that night or having any any kind of outside influence as to why he couldn't. It was a hell of a fight, man. It was a hell of a fight. If I remember, I think that one post fight, like, gosh, that was pre-COVID, right? So we weren't even doing like the format we do now. We would just do like post-fight scrums of fight nights. And he came in and sat down in a chair, if I remember right, because his legs were beat up so bad. And I don't feel like Poirier has regressed since then. So I think that's still the pick. But damn, what a fight. Hell of a fight. Yeah, a couple more leg kicks, he was done. Yeah, I remember that. I believe he came in on crutches. It was in Arizona, if I recall right. He came in on crutches post-fight, had ice bags on his legs, and kind of sat down. Sat in a chair to do his post-fight, if I remember. Because he couldn't even stand. Crazy, man. That dude, what a career he's had, man. Both of them, honestly. Those two dudes, man. both Hall of Famers, right? I mean, Dustin. Gosh, how many fights has Gaethje had in the UFC? $11 fights. That's an interesting question. Is Justin Gaethje a UFC Hall of Famer? Let's say he wins. Let's say he wins and he retires. He's 8-4 in the UFC. 25-4. Now, obviously, he's 34 years old. He's not retiring. He says he's got some more left. But let's say he doesn't even have this fight. We don't even have to say he wins. But if you want to color it with he wins, then do that. Is he a UFC Hall of Famer? And I think it's different, right? Because, you know, when somebody had a long career in the WEC or Strikeforce or Pride, I think you kind of count that in, right? Because those are all, even though it's the UFC Hall of Fame, you count in like their Zuffa experience. Now with Gaethje, we're talking about a former champ in World Series of Fighting. I think what was he there, like 10-0, 11-0. Those epic battles with Luis Palomino. I like it. Everybody's in. I think so. I think so too. 11 fight West Coast. That might be it right there. That's the stat. 11 fight, 11 bonuses. Don't care what the record is. Hall of Fame. Groshi. 100,000%. I think I'm trying to count the zeros real quick. 100,000%. M. Yes, win or lose. Boy, see, I like you guys. Noggin. He could quit being the Hall of Fame. Flamenco. Groshi. Bonus King. Scott McCrate. Highlight already Hall of Fame. Best watch ever in the sport. I love it. I like you guys. Because I agree. No question in my head whatsoever. Hall of Famer. You put that dude in the Hall of Fame. But I could see some people saying, "Well, he's only 7-4. You know, he's not a champ." Oh, okay. Don Flamingo was saying a fan favorite. Okay, so but he's convinced now. So see, Don, you're into. Yeah, I think so. I mean, interim title holder. So I guess because that's the whole thing, right? Is can you get in the Hall of Fame without a belt? You know, and obviously you can. You know, but then you start talking about like longevity. Like for instance, Jim Miller to me, Hall of Fame, no question. I don't. You know, I know Jim says I'm still chasing the belt, and I will chase the belt until I call it quits, and I respect that. You should. But I don't envision a scenario in which he wins a title before he calls it quits. But you put him in because of longevity. Justin has an interim belt, doesn't have an undisputed belt, doesn't have that longevity, but I love that stat, you know. West Coast, 11 fight, 11 bonuses. Yeah. Hall of Fame. I love it. Groshi, who has a longer highlight reel. Oh, there's a go. Richard Noggin. Go find one MMA fan who passed up a chance to see Justin Gaethje fight. You can't do it. I agree. Boy, that's a great way to say it. Paul Daly does have some great knockouts. Paul Daly is not going to be in the UFC Hall of Fame. Man, Paul Daly, what a career he had, right? Gosh. Oh, man. Man. Just pouring back through the Paul Daly resume. Obviously, that Nick Diaz fight. Unbelievable. Honestly, thought he got a raw deal in his UFC run. There had to be more behind that, behind the scenes. You know what? That's one that I'd like to ask Dana about now. It's been 13 years. What was really going on? What was really going on? There had to be more to that behind the scenes. Had to be more to it behind the scenes. I mean, I agree, you can't hit people after the bell. But I didn't find that to be that egregious to like, this dude should never be here again. Had to be more to it than that. I wonder if you talk about it. Because you talk about you talk to Dana in the heat of the moment, and anybody for that matter, they're going to tell you, they're going to tell you the company side of the story. But, when it's years later, cooler heads prevail. Maybe you talk about it. Has anybody asked? I don't think anybody's asked him about that recently, right? Has he ever talked about it afterwards? Dustin Poirier's highlight reel is pretty good too. Hell yeah, it is. That's why this fight's so awesome. I'm glad we're getting it again. I like that there's a BMF belt on it. Yeah, Groshi, there had to be something else going on. Man, Richard, fuck up a career in half a second. Man. All right, it's 10:30, so I'm assuming that means Andrei Arlovski is making his way over here now. Still waiting on Andrei Arlovski and Luan Lacerda. And a lot of face-offs, by the way. I figured I should give that update. Yeah, I mean, we've had other incidents afterwards. There had to be something else going on, whether it be like a contract dispute or a personal issue. Had to be something. Drew, that's funny. I was just thinking the same thing. 10:30. I mean, it's the Andrei Arlovski policy. Maybe Andre's pushing the envelope. He's like, man, now all the heavyweights come in at 10:30. I'm coming in at 10:45. I'm changing the game. Oh, commission's getting up. I think that might be the cue.
Next to the scale, Andrei Arlovski.
Well, you're the one that took forever. I'm gonna wait and wait.
245.
245.
Official weight 245 pounds for Andrei Arlovski.
4, 3, 2, big smile. 245.
Yes, ma'am.
Next to the scale, Luan Lacerda. Official weight 136 pounds for Luan Lacerda.
That's a wrap.
Bam. No misses.
No misses.
Shelby's here, so we see if we can start the face-off. They do have to do their own medical.
All right. That is a wrap for the weigh-ins.
Think we're going to start at 11? They both have to do medical. So it's like 24 minutes.
Yeah, maybe a couple minutes ahead of time. We'll see how Sean wants to do it.
Okay. Does he have time like they have to shoot the new guy?
I'd say it's probably going to be like 8 to 10 minutes.
At least 10?
8 to 10, somewhere like that.
But
Between them doing medicals and us, if we would start lining up, 10 minutes.
10?
Okay, sounds like we might start a little bit early.
Well, let me check with Sean.
Sean Shelby is already in the building, so it sounds like we might start the face-offs a little bit early, earlier than 11 a.m. Those last two fighters got to clear medicals. Obviously, Andre's not cutting weight, so that won't be an issue.
So it's probably going to be 11.
Oh, wait.
11? Okay.
Nope. Never mind. Sounds like they got some more physicals to clear as well, so maybe we won't start early. But I'm going to go ahead and get the lens changed out and all that, so give me just 1 second. Big Ben, what's going on?
Over a little bit. I might
You gonna slide over?
So you guys are going to do a quick shoot upstairs?
Yeah, the new guy, we have to do quick photos and then a quick shadow box. We're not going to do the full thing, just enough to get on the
Okay,
show.
check.
Hey, Raj.
I think went a little bit over.
Take the new guy upstairs.
After the face-off.
Oh, after face-off.
Yeah, well, he has set up. We can do the photos now.
All right, you guys know the drill. We'll lose an image here for a second, but the stream will stay live. Audio will still be good.
So I don't know if you wanted us to wait till you hydrate and did the face-off, or if you want me to try to grab them now. Nick has to set up, so that's why Nick wants to. Huh? All right, let me go find his fight pick. Okay.
Yeah, I think we can see. But this is like a final four. He might have faced him.
So after the face-off, you want us to grab Jesse, or are you gonna grab
It feels okay now. Dean was saying we don't know when we're going to process like physicals and all that.
Oh no, I think he's just chilling, but he's doing Heidi's interview right now.
Okay. Then yeah, after face off, Chris wants to go turn on the lights, and we could probably knock out photo real quick if he's free. Nick went to go set up for the shadow box, which we could do after face off. So if he's free to do photos right now, we could knock that out.
I think they're gonna square off. They're gonna square off.
So I'm just copying some files over here real quick. Everything's set up. So technically, face-off start at the top of the hour at 10, so we may start a little bit early. No guarantees, though. So, here. All right. Big Ben, what's going on, man? Kai has a tough one here. Where does he go? I mean, look, so Amir told us this week, he's like, look, I think I should be next. He's like, I'm gonna win this fight, and I'm gonna wait for the winner of Moreno Pantoja. We'll see about that. But that's his plan. We'll see how that works out. I was like, hey, have you been told that this is, that you're next or whatever? And he was like, nah, but I just know. Nah, you got Brandon Royval out there who might disagree a little bit, right? I mean, he's got the wins in a row. He's got the losses to the champ and the challenger. So, I mean, he's got like some history there that maybe he could call on it. And maybe that's why Albazi thinks that he should leap past him if he wins. He might say, well, hey, you already lost to both those guys. I haven't faced them, so let's get some fresh blood in there. But I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I mean, obviously, Royval's got the higher ranking right now. But, this is a main event, so who knows? Maybe something like that could happen. As far as Kai was a little bit less. He was just more like, hey, obviously he's just coming off a loss to Moreno. Recently, first fight back, missed out on the one earlier this year. Or I guess it would have been late last year. And he wasn't as like, oh, I'm next. He just said, hey, I just want to prove that I still belong around that, that I'm among the elite. So, I don't know. I don't think that he gets a title shot off of it. I don't know either one of them do, to be honest with you. But they're both in the discussion. No, Mrs. Peter. Appreciate putting that down, Groshi. As you said, face-offs may be early. Tom Flamingo, I agree. It's not easy finding a non-toxic MMA community. That's why I love these chats. We have a little fun. Just enjoy it. Zach said, Mr. Mondi, he looked as rough as Lacerda did. No. Devon looked dialed in, on point. Richard, he got his nose. I'm scrolling up a little bit. He got his nose fixed. I'm assuming he must have been talking about Arlovsky. I didn't notice. Don't do that until after your career's done. Okay, here we go. Who would you pay the most to watch fight in the UFC? Now, this is Gaethje, Connor, Jones, Izzy, Royval. Wow. I like the Brandon Royval in there. I like that. Kind of a little dark horse candidate. Who would you pay the most to watch fight in the UFC? Well, that's a good question. All right. Well, I mean, Bones for sure. Because I feel like he's the GOAT. So to get a chance to watch him compete there. I mean, I probably have to put Volk in that same vein, right? Like, where he's at, the performances that he's turning in. Plus, you just look at the character that he is. Volk. How we're just talking about excitement. God, man.
I'll be there to celebrate with yours. How about that?
Can't say Cowboy anymore since he's retired, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, it's the cheapest one I found in town that actually has a decent.
Izzy's got to be on there. Because Izzy's the whole thing, right? Like, it's his style, which is incredible, but it's just the whole performance around it, right? You're going to get a walk-in. You're going to get some quotes ahead of time. It may be frozen like Elsa, but you're still getting something.
They have like the bare minimum
Who Hamzat? Yeah. He's fun. And you're getting the whole thing around him too.
It's $10 a month, and then it's $20.
That's crazy because I'm like one of those guys that like I get excited by even like prelim fights and things like that, right? Because I know kind of where these people came from, where they're going, that sort of thing. But that's why the way you frame it, like, what would I pay the most? Jones has got to be on there. Can I throw Habib on there? Can I throw Habib on there? Get Habib to come back and fight again? I'd pay a lot to see that. I'd pay a lot to see Habib back. Woo. Izzy, Yair. Yeah, dude, Yair. Gotta say Yair. Gotta say Yair. That dude's so exciting and unpredictable and different. I mean, like in some ways I kind of want to say Zombie, even though like Zombie versus Volk is kind of hard to watch. You got the Diaz brothers on there, right? I mean, those guys bring a show. Diaz brothers. Oh, Max Holloway? Of course, Max Holloway. Yup, Richard. 100% right about that. Peter. Chandler, exactly. Got the Chandler on there. That dude. Love Chandler, man. Every fight that he's in is exciting, and he's great as well, man. Phenomenal interview. Good dude.
I use that, yeah.
Tony. Hell yeah, Richard. Gotta say Tony.
I use that every day.
Gotta say Tony.
I'll do pull-ups.
Bobby. I love watching Bobby fight. I love watching his interviews. I love talking to him. Bobby, I throw on there. Yuri Pajeda. That's a good call, Don. Damn, that's a good call. Yeah, I got to throw Yuri on there. I mean, Yuri is exciting. I mean, how do I even make a list? That's what I'm saying. This list is impossible. This list is impossible. Yuri Pajeda, my goodness. Yeah, apologies to Jamal. I get Bobby Knuckles. Got to throw Whitaker on there. I have now spent all my money. Oh man! Oh, I didn't scroll Umar.
Which means now they have to issue keys to everybody. That's gonna take a fucking.
Girl, she said Habib would be a heavyweight.
What the hell? Yeah.
Oh man! Will Brewer's in the house. What's going on? Yeah, Anderson, bro. Dude, prime Anderson. That's one thing that bums me out is that I'm sure there's a lot of people that, and because it's hard to just go back and watch a highlight and to put it in context. But like the era of Anderson, prime Anderson, unbelievable. It's so hard to put that in context to just go back and watch something. It doesn't, I don't know that translates, but that dude was the man. And that's what's always kind of difficult when you have like the greatest of all time talks, right? Because of the way that Anderson's career ended. I think a lot of people take him off that list, but that dude was a killer, man. Him and Vitor, like that face, like that's one of my favorite pre-fight face-offs of all time. When they had their stare down, and Anderson pulled out that Jabberwocky's mask and put that on because Vitor had said was kind of talking trash about him the week of. It said that he wears a mask, meaning that he's fake. That he's different behind the scenes than he is in front of the scenes. And Anderson put that mask on, like no joke. I was like, like hairs on my arms standing up, like in the car driving home from the MGM Grand, just like almost shaking, like, oh, I cannot wait for tomorrow. Oh, man. That kick, man. That kick was insane. Okay, I heard the fighter's getting instructions lining up, so maybe we'll still get a little bit going for 11. Dude, you know what I mean? Because I was sitting here thinking, like who would I want to best represent, like great submission game as well. We didn't even mention Charles Oliveira. You got to put Charles Oliveira on that list of people you'd pay to watch fight, right? Like, that dude's going to be exciting. Incredible grappling. Stand-up getting better. Phenomenal set of teeth. Gotta go. Oh. How about Michael Bisping? Michael Bisping, man, that I know Simon Head, if he's still hanging in here, I know he can speak to this, man, because he was sitting right next to me, dude. That Bisping-Anderson fight, that's one of my favorite fights of all time. Just the ebbs and flows and the emotion that was in that building and the career that he's had. Unbelievable, man. Yeah, West Coast is tough, right? Because, as far as who's next, we obviously got Moreno and Pantoja coming up in the summer. Kai's right there. He's number 3. Everything I heard is that Devison is moving up to bantamweight. I know there was some confusion over whether or not he was moving up to 35, but I've heard that his next fight will be at 35. So then who's that leave? Kai's there again. Raw Dog. I mean, by the way, put him on the list. Well, this is getting big. How many fights we got on this list? How much money I got to watch? How much money I got to spend? But you got to put Raw Dog on there. So does he waltz straight in? If it's not the winner of this fight, then it's got to be Royval, right? All right, it looks like security's in place, so maybe we're going to get started. I guess I better get up and go get myself in position. Shout out to Cold Coffee's cord right there, and now his face as well.
What, are you going to stay wide like that?
Yeah, I shoot wide.
Maybe push in a little bit. How wide is it?
You got heavyweights.
In my
And I'm
office,
shooting
I
still.
have the
I got to shoot
thing
stills too.
stick on the
Cold
back of the
Well, plus, I'll be like this for most of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get to see a little bit of Cold Coffee's panning over there. Bo Nickel. Wouldn't mind throwing that on there. Will Brewer, I did feel like Bisping won that fight. It was crazy. But I feel like Anderson let him off the hook. Because I remember, because I was sitting next to Simon Head, and I remember it because there was some confusion at the end of that round. It was Herb Dean, I believe, was the referee, if I remember right. Is he waving off the fight? And I remember looking over to Simon because we were talking, and I'm like, hey, he's not waving off. I was like, the round's ending. I was like, but it's not gonna matter. Like, he's so hurt right now. Like, Anderson's just gonna crush him at the start of the round, and then Anderson kind of let him off the hook. And I think Anderson messed up. Now, again, I don't want to take anything away from Bisping. Courageous performance, but I feel like had Anderson just walked out at the start of that next round and just mowed him down, like there was nothing that would be able to done. But Bisping recovered, and that to me, like, that fight, seriously one of my favorite fights of all time. I think being in the O2 made it even more dramatic, I guess, or emotional. And again, the career of Bisping, and I've always said that I felt like that fight was like a movie. You know what I mean? Like the chapters, the stanzas, the ebbs and flows. It was incredible, man. Yeah, Don. It was a shot right at the bell. Bisping's mouthpiece was out, and he looked down at it, and Anderson drilled him. That was incredible. Some hammering going on off in the Apex. What the hell's going on over there? Obstruction going on? All right, looks like we're ready to start. I'm gonna go jump in position. Yep, line everybody up. Max and Christian. Huh.
Right. So, just a heads up. Actually,
Irish Shinaga, man. Thank you, brother. That's kind. It is wild, man. Like watching that Connor documentary and like, oh yeah, I was there, because it just kind of all blends together. You forget, but it's like, man, yeah, I've been fortunate as hell.
Oh, there he is.
Condit. GSP says toughest fight was Condit. How about Carlos Condit? That list of people you want to see fight. Come on, man.
We're set up for it. Literally, the desk, everything is pushed out of the way.
Left to Larry. That is crazy, man. That fight changed careers. All right, everybody's in place. I'm gonna go get myself in a position to shoot stills of this. Looks like face-offs are coming up.
I have to be there early, so I will be in the studio. Standing here for this while you do the walk and talk. Okay, we're doing a walk and talk, right?
Yep.
At 11:30. Okay. And I'll take care of the studio in case Danny gets there early.
Yeah, we don't
We're done
necessarily
in-
have to move the desk.
It's gone. No, it's moved.
Because if we're not doing a Karen like Lewis and stuff.
What do you mean? Right now, the desk is completely pushed up against the side wall. I mean, it is completely moved right now. Well, I didn't do it, but it's done.
It's funny. I was like, man, Grisham's tall. Then all of a sudden, the whole cop appears around the corner. I was like, never mind.
Dude, I'm trying to grow
Short stuff.
No, man, I'm going right here, but I've been using
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you look at me like, why is he tall? You're like, oh, wait, no, never mind.
But the neutrophil, you gotta take
No, your hands.
the neutrophil, you gotta take like 4.
Your hands get furry.
3 of the other ones, like 7 pills. Can't do it, I can't do it.
Once he gets here, I'll go grab Sean.
What up, hi?
Hi there, how are you? I'll call him.
Hey, how are you again? I want to make sure I'm not moving you.
I wouldn't be a bad thing.
I was going to maybe we'll get some views, right? Let's just right. Watch, yeah. Watch more Chunky.
Where's he?
What, did you pay for it, what, to fly back?
Canteen too. Where's he canteen?
You know why Aaron asked me? He texts me every day. They told me. It's like,
That's Aaron.
So that's what it is.
That's Aaron.
You kidding? Real good.
Yeah.
He's
That's
like,
what
you
it
get it?
is.
I go, fine.
Right, yeah.
He's in here. He's down the aisle.
You know, Shane, I told him like that, I was taking to him and I got to sit. Aaron's like, you open up a sale of fucking worm. They travel a lot, they're reporting every once in a while. Hold your fucking breath.
Did Jeff pay for upgrade? Oh, you gave it to him. Okay.
I have a ton of
Miles. All right. I'm out of here.
I'll try to use it. I'm not thinking.
What did I say? Chris, what do you got?
I think I'm doing the pay-per-view in Singapore.
Under 29 and a half?
Brendan Fitzgerald is setting the over/under at 39.5. There's always a little a wager as to how many fist bumps and
All right,
handshakes
everybody,
there.
we're going to stare these fighters down. Sean Shelby is here tomorrow. The prelims are on ESPN Plus. First fights in the light heavyweight division. We begin with Maxim Grishin taking on Felipe Lins. Up next, we're in the bantamweight division. Luan Lacerda takes on Damon Blackshear. Up next, we're in the women's strawweight division. Jin Yu Fry takes on Elise Reed. Up next, we're in the lightweight division. Muhammad Naimov squares off against Jamie Malarkey. Next up, we're at bantamweight. Muin Gafarov takes on John Castaneda. Heavyweights are up next. Don'Tale Mays takes on Andre Arlovsky. Featured prelim is in the bantamweight division. Johnny Munoz takes on Daniel Santos.
Ora bicho. Lá cima dele, moleque.
Our main card is on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It begins in the welterweight division. Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos takes on Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Up next, we're in the women's flyweight division. Ketlin Souza takes on Karini Silva. Up next, we're in the flyweight division. Victor Altamirano takes on Tim Elliott. Next up, we're in the lightweight division. Jesse Butler takes on Jim Miller. Our co-main event is at featherweight. Daniel Pineda takes on 15th ranked Alex Caceres. And our main event is at flyweight, 5 rounds between top 10 contenders. 7th ranked Amir Albazi takes on 3rd ranked Kai Kara France.
Let's go, brother! Let's go! Let's go! You're gonna see. You're gonna see tomorrow.
Kai Kara France and Amir Albazi, 5 rounds in our main event tomorrow on ESPN.
I like that. I like that. That got a little spirited. Got a little spirited. That was a face-off right there.
Brendan, can I say you for
Let's go.
34?
Good job, good job. Dude, I was just
Usually, I mean, it's 3 average.
I mean, you failed to factor in that.
And sometimes a 4.
right.
Well, one guy did security.
And right, because then somebody
I
exactly.
remember we were way short one time.
Yeah, but Brandon, you failed to
Everybody and then
you failed to factor in that Amir was never going to touch
Yeah,
it.
I knew Amir wasn't. But I said 29 and a half.
Oh, you said
I
20 now.
over.
Okay, all right.
But I said over.
All right, guys. Listen, pleasure as always, man. Thank you to everybody that stuck around, hung out today, chatted. Always enjoy doing this with you guys. Have a great weekend, everyone. And we'll see you at the fights a little later.
Yeah, later, bitch.
Cold coffee. There he is. Take it easy, guys.